Is there a way to train the bacteria in your gut to help your immune cells recognize and attack cancer, making immunotherapy work better? Scientists are discovering that we may be able to train certain gut bacteria to program T cells, cells programmed to scan our body for threats, directly in the intestine, turning them into powerful anti-tumor immune cells that become significantly more effective at controlling tumor growth. If gut bacteria can actually train the immune system to fight cancer, then manipulating the microbiome, an entire community of tiny organisms, could dramatically improve how well cancer immunotherapies work for patients who desperately need them. In this video, I'll show you exactly how these microbes hack your immune system, the incredible journey these cells take from your digestive tract to a tumor, and why this discovery is stunning researchers. I'm Ethan Yovanovitch with Catalyst Scientific Discoveries. Let's explore together. To understand why this is such a massive breakthrough, we have to look at how we currently treat cancer with the immune system. For the past decade, scientists have developed a class of revolutionary treatments called checkpoint inhibitors, such as PD-1 blockers. The logic behind them is brilliant. Cancer doesn't just hide from the immune system, it infiltrates the command center. It slips into the control room and cuts the communication lines that tell your immune soldiers when to attack. The logic behind its strategy is brutal and brilliant. Cancer is incredibly cunning. It survives by issuing a forged stand-down order, flipping the immune system's off switch and locking down the armory so the soldiers can't engage. Checkpoint inhibitors are designed to flip that switch back on, restoring the real chain of command and allowing the immune forces to re-engage the enemy. When these drugs work, the results are nothing short of astonishing. Tumors shrink, metastases, or spreading of the cancer, disappears, and patients who were given months to live suddenly have years. But here is the stubborn problem that has been frustrating oncologists for years. They don't work for everyone. In fact, for many cancer patients, these incredibly advanced drugs barely work at all. This raises a fascinating question. What if the reason some patients respond and others don't has nothing to do with the tumor itself? What if the difference comes from something living inside your digestive tract? Inside your gut lives one of the most complex ecosystems on Earth. We are talking about trillions of microorganisms, bacteria, virus, and fungi collectively known as the gut microbiome. To put it into perspective, there are more bacteria cells inside you right now than there are human cells. We're talking tens of trillions of tiny hitchhikers along for the ride. For decades, the medical consensus was that these microbes mostly just help us digest our food. But scientists are now realizing something remarkable. Your microbiome influences your metabolism, your hormones, your baseline inflammation, and critically, it acts as the primary training ground for your immune system. A recent study by Dr. Dan Littman at the New York University School of Medicine has uncovered direct evidence that certain gut bacteria can actually train immune cells to recognize and attack cancer. And this training does not happen at the site of the tumor. It happens in the intestine, long before the immune system ever encounters the cancer itself. To understand this mechanism, we need to talk about your elite intelligence agents, the T cells. Each T cell carries a unique molecular sensor, almost like a fingerprint scanner, designed to recognize specific molecular patterns called antigens. Normally, these antigens come from outside invaders like viruses or bacteria. When a T cell scans an antigen that matches its specific fingerprint, it activates, multiplies, and launches a targeted attack. But here is where the biology gets wildly intriguing. But hold on, before we dive in, what do you think? Could the bacteria in your gut really help train your immune system to fight cancer? Share your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear your take. Also, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We are charting the future of science together. And trust me, You don't want to be the one losing the science trivia games. Okay, so sometimes the antigens found on completely harmless gut microbes look remarkably similar to the dangerous molecules found on deadly tumors. In immunology, this phenomenon is called antigen mimicry. It means a T cell that's been trained to spot a run-of-the-mill bacterium might, by sheer coincidence, also recognize a cancer cell. In other words, your immune system might already be running little practice battles for a future cancer fight without you even knowing it. The researchers wanted to test this exact idea in a living system to see if it could be harnessed for medicine. They turned to a very specific, unusual bacterium that naturally lives in the intestines of mice called segmented filamentous bacteria, or SFB. SFB has a unique property. When it colonizes the gut, essentially setting up camp along the intestinal lining, it triggers the production of a specific class of immune cells known as Th17 cells. Normally, Th17 cells just hang out around the intestine, defending the mucosal barrier against local microbial threats. But the scientists asked a bold question. Could these exact same gut-defending cells be weaponized to fight a distant tumor? To find out, they designed an incredibly elegant experiment. They engineered melanoma tumor cells and inserted a tiny protein fragment taken directly from the SFB bacterium. Essentially, they created a skin tumor that wore a partial disguise, making it look slightly like the gut bacteria. Then they implanted these engineered tumors into two groups of mice. Group A had the SFB bacterium naturally living in their gut, while Group B did not. Finally, they treated all the mice with anti-PD-1 immunotherapy, which is the exact same class of drugs used in humans today. The results were undeniable and immediate. In the mice that did not have the gut bacterium, the immunotherapy barely worked. The tumors grew aggressively, almost entirely ignoring the drugs. But in the mice that did have the SFB bacterium actively living in their intestines, the tumors shrank drastically. It was the exact same tumor model and the exact same drug, but it yielded a completely different outcome. The presence of a single bacterial species in the gut was somehow supercharging the entire immune system across the entire body. To figure out how this was happening, the scientists tracked the T cells using genetic fingerprinting. We've uncovered some amazing finds in the world of science on this channel, and hey, if you want to leave your own little science fingerprint on this journey, drop a comment in the box below, tap that subscribe button, and join the investigation. So, using genetic fingerprinting, the researchers found a biological masterpiece. The exact same T cells that had been activated in the intestine were migrating through the bloodstream and showing up inside the tumor. It was as if the immune cells had gone through rigorous boot camp in the gut and were then deployed directly to the front lines. But the story gets even better. When the gut-trained T cells arrived at the tumor, they physically changed their identity. This is a biological concept called T cell plasticity. In the intestine, they behave like standard Th17 cells, specialized for local defense. But once they entered the hostile, toxic environment of the tumor, they transformed. They shifted into a much more aggressive state known as Th1-like cells. Think of Th1 cells as the orchestrators of the immune response, mediating other classes of immune cells to do their killing. They are one of the generals of the battlefield. They started pumping out powerful inflammatory signals, molecules like interferon gamma and TNF. These chemical signals act like emergency flares, lighting up the tumor microenvironment and recruiting the heavy artillery. Specifically, these flares called CD8 killer T cells, the professional assassins of the immune system whose whole purpose is to destroy abnormal cells. Because of this gut-trained signaling, the tumors become completely flooded with killer T cells, allowing the checkpoint therapy, a cancer treatment that helps T cells attack tumors more effectively, to do its job. To prove this wasn't just a fluke, the researchers genetically removed these original gut-trained Th17 cells from the mice. Instantly, the entire anti-tumor effect vanished, confirming beyond a shadow of a doubt that the gut bacteria were the true source of the victory. But before you rush out to buy every probiotic on the shelf, there is a huge twist. The scientists tested a second, entirely different gut bacterium called Helicobacter hepaticus. They ran the exact same experiment, engineering the tumor to match this new microbe. But this time, the immune response did not improve at all. The tumors kept growing. Why did one microbe cure the cancer while the other failed? The reason? This second bacterium triggered a completely different type of immune response. Instead of creating aggressive fighter cells, it created regulatory T cells. The normal job of a regulatory T cell is to calm the immune system down to prevent autoimmune diseases. So, instead of attacking the tumor, these cells effectively protected it by suppressing the immune response. This reveals a profound lesson for the future of medicine. It is not just the mere presence of microbes that matters, it is the specific type of immune response they are programmed to create. Some microbes train the immune system to fight, while others train it to look away. This fundamentally changes how we think about the future of cancer treatment. Right now, immunotherapy is incredibly powerful, but its unpredictability is a massive hurdle. This research suggests that part of the answer has been hiding in the digestive tract all along. The bacteria living in your gut could be the deciding factor in whether your immune system arrives at the fight fully trained or completely unprepared. If scientists can learn to map and manipulate this microbial training ground, it opens up entirely new possibilities for modern medicine. Imagine a future where, before a patient ever receives an immunotherapy drug, their doctor analyzes their microbiome. We could introduce beneficial, highly specific microbes to prime their system. We could design microbial vaccines that safely train T cells in the gut to recognize tumor antigens in advance. Instead of just hoping the immune system responds to the drugs, we could intentionally program it ahead of time, turning the body's natural ecosystem into a customized weapon against disease. For decades, we have viewed cancer treatment strictly as a battle between pharmaceutical drugs and malignant tumors. But this research forces us to look at a much bigger picture. The battlefield stretches far beyond the tumor itself. It extends into the complex, invisible world of the microbiome, connecting a bacterium in the gut to an immune cell in the intestine, and finally to a tumor within your body. They are all connected in ways we are only just beginning to map. If scientists can learn to harness that connection, the trillions of microbes inside us might one day become our greatest allies in the fight against cancer. So, I'm curious. If something as small as a single gut bacterium can completely change whether a cancer therapy works, what else do you think your microbiome might be quietly controlling without you even realizing it? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you found this deep dive into immune biology fascinating, and you want to support the channel so we can keep bringing you these cutting-edge scientific breakdowns, tap that like button. It strengthens the signal routing network, which is the system that ensures these videos reach the exact people who need to see them. Speaking of signal routing, if you're curious how we can rewire brain circuits to push back against the effects of dementia, check out the video right here. It's a good one. In the meantime, keep your signal lines clean and your connections tight. We are Catalyst Scientific Discoveries, and we'll see you in the next one.